It is January 9th, 2016. We're here at 8552 Rhone Road in Santee, California, 92071. We could not find any cleanouts on the perimeter of the house, and so we're here on the rooftop. There are two bathrooms. We're here at the 2-inch ABS plastic vent. First thing we did notice was this little chew mark right here on the pipe. See where I'm tapping here? The pipe is kind of curved right there. That is what's called a wear indicator mark, and that's just typical that we might typically see when a drain has backed up and somebody's had to come and clear the main line or the line off the toilet with a cable or a hydrojet or some type of push rod, and it leaves that wear mark. Now, it could be that somebody also just inspected it with a camera at some point in time, and that left that as well. So we want to point that out. This is a 2-inch vent. And again, this should lead right down into the beginning of the sewer main for this entire house. Got a little bit of cobwebs on the line here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just pause the video for a second while we pull back the camera and wipe off the face of all those cobwebs. Okay, we've cleaned that off. We'll see if we can go back down this pipe in a clean fashion this time. Right there you're seeing a T-junction for the vent. That's going to pick up the tub or shower. And then this other T-junction we see right here is going to pick up the lavatory sink. Here we have the transition from this 2-inch, and we're now into what appears to be 3-inch ABS. This is all newer ABS plastic style pipe. This bathroom is probably a remodel, probably was not original to the house more than likely. Okay, here we have just a little tiny bit of standing water here. And here we have a combo or a T-fitting. So what we're looking at right here is where this bathroom is now going to connect into the other bathroom clear on the other side of the house, which is probably the original bathroom. So again, you can see there's just a little bit of standing water. We're going to take a photo of this. Not supposed to see any standing water, of course, because the line is supposed to have downhill slope at all times, a minimum of 1/4 inch per foot. So for every 4 feet it travels, it needs to fall 1 full inch in depth. But we have just a little bit here. We're going to go ahead and make this transition here. We have a little bit of debris on the pipe, so it's dragging on the face of the camera there. Okay. Our camera kind of did a little zigzag, and so what you're actually looking right here is this is the end of this line on the crawl space, which we did check, and that is the clean out cover. Now this clean out cover or access to the main sewer, which again you're looking at right now, is a cap that you can de-thread to put something in to clean it out or snake it out. The only problem is this clean out is about 10 to 15 feet away from the crawl space entrance, which is very small to begin with. So it's quite a long distance away to be able to run any kind of equipment through. But we just wanted to show that since we accidentally had the camera turned that way, not by choice, but it just did. It's kind of flip-flopping there. For some reason this keeps spinning that way. So the pipe was put in properly, just that our spring head in our camera just happens to keep wanting to flow that direction with the angle that it's hitting and trying to make this turn. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and pull our camera back and go over to this other junction that we're at right now, which is going to be accessed from the other roof vent from the other bathroom. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, so we're able to get out a different style camera head and push rod beyond that turn where our camera the last time couldn't get through, and or it kept turning the opposite direction and was showing the back side of the line where there was that clean out plug. So what we've done here is we've pushed out past the toilet, which is in the other bathroom, which we're going to be able to access the remainder of the line from that vent. We've pushed past that, and what we're looking at right here is still standing water in the line. Now coming up, there's another vertical pipe dumping into the line. That's either going to be the sink or the tub or shower for that bathroom. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and pull back in reverse to show you this line all the way out. Now there is quite a large amount of water being held in this line, so this line is not to code and would need to be corrected. Now part of the problem may be that because this other bathroom was added, to get the slope on that line that they needed to where that T-junction is for this other bathroom, they essentially landed up lowering this other pipes under the house. And that could be why we don't have proper slope in this direction, because they just couldn't achieve it to code. So as you see, we back up here, we have some mounds of debris caked up on the sides of the pipe here, on the left and right hand side of the pipe, and then you can see the standing water on the bottom. So there's a good chance that this wear indicator mark that we showed you on the top of the roof vent originally when we began the video was because the main line had clogged and backed up on them. So as you see, we're going to back up here, and the water is going to get a little bit deeper. So you can see all that buildup on the pipe, and that's because it's not draining out. Now there you see our camera is completely underwater already. So now we've got water that's standing in the pipe of 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch approximately, because this is a 1-inch camera head, and the lens being centered and then a little above center is completely underwater here. So as we back up here, see, it's going to pull the water as I drag backwards in reverse, so we'll kind of get an open view a little bit here. And then again, you can see all that heavy debris and sludge, and then even here, hanging on the side of the line right there at this turn, we've got some heavy debris hanging down the pipe here. Now this could be the drain right underneath the toilet here. We're going to take a photo of that debris, and that could be stuff coming down, hanging off of there. We're going to go ahead and pause the video for a second and just see if this is near the T-junction of the other bathroom's toilet. Okay, so it does look like it's right by this other toilet junction for sure, because we're right at the turn, and when we look down the other vent that we're going to show you next, we can see the light at the very bottom of the line, literally under the house where we're at right now with this one. So as soon as we make this turn, you can see now we're at the spot we couldn't get by with the original camera, and so that's that combo T-junction. So again, shouldn't have the standing water, but the pipe would have to be raised up to alleviate that, and by doing that, then it would probably cause the other line here that we're coming back in reverse, coming back to this other bathroom that was probably added, not original, I'm assuming, would cause it to not have good slope. So it's a give and take as to what would happen. But again, with all that sludge you could see on the sides of the pipe and hanging down, again, that's due to essentially it not draining at the proper slope depth. Now, you can see the little white marks on the pipe on the top of the left and right hand side of the pipe. It's perfectly parallel with the pipe and an equidistant across from each other. So that's probably the debris field that got left and dried up on the pipe when there was a stoppage on the system at some point in time. So as we come back here, you can see how this ABS plastic pipe, which does have all proper slope up to that T-junction, looks. And then the stuff that we got at the end there, all that buildup on the left and right hand sides of the pipe, or what happened when you don't have proper slope. It should look like the pipe we're looking at right now. So we're just coming back in reverse. We're going to come all the way back out just to show you that this is the same spot we started from. So we're coming back up the vertical vent here. And coming back out, we're going to wipe our camera face. So again, this is the 2-inch vent for this farthest back bathroom, maybe a master bedroom possibly. And so that's where we originally started with a different camera reel. So now we're going to go ahead and pause the video and go back over to the other toilet bathroom vent that we just stopped with this camera at. Okay, we moved to the other side of the house, and so we're here on the rooftop. And now on this side of the house, this must be the original bathroom, because you can see here we have a very large 4-inch original, and this is a cast iron vent pipe. So this is what they would have built originally, not the ABS plastic and small 2-inch, which is to code, but we wouldn't have seen that. So there you see a T-junction like we saw in the other vents. It picks up the other fixtures of the bathroom for their vents. They may have redone this line here. We're not sure what we're looking at here. We've got a really strange opening. Come on. Hey. So this is... Okay, so it appears what somebody did was, looks like they reduced the pipe here. So right here, this is the toilet emptying in. It's kind of hard to see, but right here on the bottom right side of the screen, that's actually where the toilet empties into. We're going to try to twist our cable a little bit. So yeah, on the right hand side, that's where the toilet empties into the line. And so then you can see here, we actually hit this pipe that has been pushed up inside, and then they use that black sealant around there. So what somebody did was, it's not to code, this goes from 4-inch, and you've got that big lip around the entire seam of this vertical pipe, and it's being reduced. They put essentially like a bushing inside of there to go ahead and make a quick turn on the line. I'm going to go and take a photo of this. So more than likely it would be mostly functional, again not to code, and could lead to stoppages though, because obviously you can never reduce a sewer pipe. The sewer pipe can only go from smaller to larger, it can never go from smaller, bigger to a smaller piece. And so what they did was they went ahead and again pushed a pipe up inside here so that they can make that turn, because they didn't want to cut out all this cast iron, which would have been more cost and more work, but it would have been the only proper way to do it. And then what they landed up doing right here, we can see they didn't use a proper T-junction. So anytime you transition from a vertical pipe to a horizontal pipe, you have to use what's called a combo T, a combination fitting. And that T-junction uses a long sweep 90 to make that turn, to force it, the waste or water, whatever it is, in the direction of flow. What somebody did here, because they were trying to bring the pipe up high as they could, probably to catch again that other bathroom to get good slope, they used what's called a sanitary T. Now a sanitary T is not allowed to be laid on its back like this, and that's why we see such a large opening, and when I drop my camera in, I'm just hitting the straight seam, the perfect vertical down to the horizontal. I should be hitting a curved piece of black plastic pipe, again that long sweep combo, that's going to force me in the right direction. And so what happens is you get all that debris sitting on the bottom and clunking up there. And also again, for snaking and camera purposes, I can't get this possibly to go the right direction at first. It's going to have to be forced. So a sanitary T cannot be laid on its back. It can only be laid standing upright, and then a horizontal line can dump into it to become vertical, but it can't be the opposite, vertical into horizontal, and that's what's happening here. So we're going to see if we can... We're looking backwards there, I believe, and that's again the problem with this not facing the right direction. We're going to see if we can get this to turn away. Doesn't look like it's happening here. Okay. See the problem we're having, and that's why you're not allowed to lay fittings this way. So somebody did this incorrectly. We're going to have to go ahead and pause the video, try to see if we can maneuver with some string or another camera head to force it the opposite direction. Okay, we were able to put another camera down the line to block the other pathway and force our camera down the right direction. So we're headed across this line here now. And this is what we viewed with the other camera head to a certain point. So now we're headed out across this house towards the driveway. Okay, so you can see here we are under another large area that's holding water and that is not draining out properly. So and again, when this line was done, we essentially have improper slope. It was put in, so somebody changed out to plastic, but unfortunately when they did this, they did not make sure with the level, what we call red eye level, that this had the proper plumbing slope, the whole path. So this essentially can lead to sometimes odors coming out up through the fixtures a little bit heavier than others. Not too common, but the bigger problem is that you're worried about stoppages, because as you can see, all this water and debris that's kind of floating around in the line, little specks, things don't drain out properly, and so heavy feces and paper and other articulate matter will go ahead and collect in the line and then lead to a stoppage. So we're still underwater here. Okay, this is a much worse belly than the very beginning of this line, which is off the back side of the toilet, which we saw from the other bathroom. And you can see here, we finally come out of that belly at the 40-foot mark. So right here, as we back up, that is the lip to another piece of pipe. So as I come back here, we're going to go ahead and slowly come back. This is where the two pieces of pipe are glued together. And right here, that's the transition, and that's where the belly stops. So the pipe from there out so far appears to be proper slope, and this is what we should be seeing. We should be seeing the full view of the pipe. So at that 40-foot mark, it doesn't have that. Now that may be right at the foundation wall of the house. We'll have to go ahead and locate kind of where that's at, but we're pushing forward right now. Here we have another glue coupling. Here we have a T-junction. This could be a clean-out, or it could be possibly where another fixture is emptying into the line. Okay, here we have a turn, a drop, a little bit of debris on the face of our camera here. This is still all plastic pipe, so that's the only good thing so far, other than the bellies we found. We're still running out. We've got a little bit of debris on the face of our camera here. We apologize. We're going to go ahead and pause the video for a second and put some water down the system to try to get that to be flushed off. Okay, so we've ran some water across our camera, and we were able to do that. We did locate that vertical pipe we passed at about the 53-foot mark or so, I believe, on the meter counter, was in fact a clean out. So right on the edge of the house, the sewer pipe is very shallow. It's only a couple inches deep, and there's a clean out Y junction they put in with a threaded plug. We unscrewed that, poured some water down, and again, the pipe is right there, so there's not much depth to the pipe. And so as far as that belly is concerned under the house, again, I'm guessing that's why they used that illegal fitting as it was, because they were trying to get as much height as they could, and they still couldn't achieve what they needed to. So it would be possibly very difficult to go ahead and try to change that, but the only way to do that would be to raise the whole main, which could affect the back bathroom, and you would also have to change out all the cast iron under this current bathroom toilet, which means possibly opening up the floorboard so that you could actually change out that fitting in there to add one that was even tighter in the proper sense. So we're just going to continue on down the line here, dragging a little bit of that debris again. It's there. Okay, a little bit of standing water right here, and this could be right where we empty into a sump pump. So you can see a little bit of standing water right here. I'm going to take a photo of this. And so this main sewer does not use gravity for the entire path. It goes to the end of the driveway, and then what it does is it has to go ahead and empty into a sump pump. And so what you're looking at right here is some debris, and we've entered the actual sump pump, which we uncovered the lid, and we'll show that at the end of the video here. So this has to be pumped back up across another driveway to get out to the city's line, because they could not achieve, again, the proper downhill slope the entire path once it leaves the house even. So this is the end of this house line. Now there is a bathroom in the garage, so now we're going to go ahead and pause the video and move over to the other bathroom addition that was done for the garage, which was converted into a unit. Okay, we're still pulling the camera back. We just wanted to show one more time this long belly line that is very important. We pulled back, and again, at the 53-foot mark, which you saw on the first coming across, that is where that clean out is, on the very edge of the foundation wall of the house, about a foot away from it or so. And then as we come back here at this approximately 39-foot mark, that's where this belly is ending. And as we come back in reverse, we just want to show this again because of how important this is. So we're going to keep coming back, and you can see the camera is completely underwater. Now as we're coming in reverse, we're stirring up the water there. It flows back and forth, it kind of wobbles, of course, as we pull the cable back. So just letting it kind of settle down there. He's kind of waving up and down, but still here at the 30-foot mark, 10 feet away, we still have that belly for the line. We should not see all this water standing here. And then as we come backwards, about 15 feet away is where we essentially are just about beginning this belly to the line. We've got standing water beginning in the system. So it's a 15-foot long run. And then as we come backwards here, we're pretty much dry, and then we have another little belly here. Again, this is getting close to where the bathroom, so this is where the other camera ended. We can see that other T-junction, and now we're about to come back up through the toilet here. We're coming back up the vertical right here. So got stuff dangling off the face of the camera here, but this is the transition here. So we're going to go ahead and just pull this out one more time and wipe off the camera face to show this, because of how, again, important this is too, with the reduction in pipe and the improper T-junction that was used. So we'll go back down one quick time here. So we showed you that. That's where the toilet enters right here. And then they put a reducer pipe. We got to bounce around that. And then here we're staring, looking at the bottom horizontal pipe, which we should not, again, be doing. And we're seeing that because of, again, the improper T-junction. And as we showed you the other time, we had difficulty. We're going to have to pull back up. I'm sorry, we touched the water there. making that transition and turn. And so debris has the same problem. And so besides the little bit of standing water we saw, that is why you'll get debris there, because it's not flowing, it's just hitting the bottom and not being dragged out because of the combination of the improper fitting and the improper slope. Come back one more time, get one more photo of this. Okay, so we're now going to go ahead and pause the video again and go back to the garage that was remodeled. Okay, we're now here on the roof of the garage. It's kind of dark out, so it's kind of hard to see everything, but this is the garage roof here. This is the 2-inch vent. This should be leading directly into the sewer main for the toilet. There's a little bit of leaves and debris in the vent there. Okay. This is all newer plastic pipe. Just a little bit of standing water on the bottom, but nothing bad right now like it was in the other system. So this line shouldn't be running too far, and then it should tee in junction into the other main that we've already scoped across. We're suspecting that the vertical transition we saw in the horizontal is where this line tees into, but we'll find out here shortly. Okay, and yes, here's our T-junction where this empties into the main here. And so this is what we've already scanned across the other part of the system. We just didn't notice that T when we were running across. We probably had some debris on the face of our camera before we got the water rushed by. So this line is perfectly fine. This is all the plastic, and again, that's where it empties in. Here's our T-junction. So that's the end of this line for this individual unit here, which was the converted garage. So we're coming back across here. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video as we pull back here, and then we're going to go ahead and show the clean out on the side of the house as well as the ejection pump system. Okay, we're now here on the side of the house. You can see here's where the main shutoff is, the regulator, some irrigation cover box with all the valves, and right here next to here is the clean out. Now this clean out is not a two-way clean out. This only goes out. Now here we do have one wear indicator mark. You can see this little chew mark right here on the line, just like we saw on the rooftop. And as we look down in, you can see it's very quick, and it already transitions to the horizontal pipe. So it's literally just a few inches deep. Now this only goes out away from the house, the clean out. So at this point, what we recommend, because of that large belly on the system, is that this be dug back up and 2 clean outs be put in. That's the way every clean out is supposed to be done, so that one sweeps one way and one sweeps the other way, and they actually crisscross each other. And the reason for that is that this line, with all that debris that's in there now, and it's going to constantly accumulate because of those bellies, is going to need to be cleaned up. And that needs to be done with a hydrojetter. That is the only way you can scrape and clear all that debris out of the pipe. A snaking could clear the stoppage, but it's going to leave all that heavy buildup caked up in there. You need a hydrojetter to go in with water nozzles spinning, and will scrape and pull all that debris out. And that's why another clean out would be put here, so the jetter can go in reverse and drag all that stuff out. So we just wanted to show that. We're now going to go ahead and pause the video and move back over to the sump pump. Okay, we've now moved our camera over here to the end of the driveway here, and this is where the sump pump is. So you can see here they have a metal bar across to hold it in place, and then there's a wooden lid with 2 handles here, the electrical power cord coming in from this GFCI here. Now, the first thing we notice is this was not done to code. All sewer ejection pumps are required to have a vent. So on this lid, no matter whether it was a manufacturer's box or lid or a custom like this, it's required to have a vent. And so there should be a 1.5 to 2 inch vent pipe coming out of here with an upside down 180 degree piece so that you don't have rainwater coming in through the vent, but it expels those gases. So now I'm going to go ahead and lift the lid up. And so you can see here, we're going to try to move our camera closer. Apologize, this is a little awkward, it's not a video camera. We're trying to make it into one. So right down here is where we have the line coming in, and then you can see here we have, this is the line that's very high up going out. So this is where our gravity line continues. So you can see the pump down inside here. Now you can see over here, this is all the debris field that we saw when we were exiting this line. We're going to put the camera closer. So this is where the line empties. There's that little bit of standing water right down here. And then you can see all that debris that is just caked up right there. And all that toilet paper and junk and stuff is actually sitting there emptying right onto the float mechanism. So as we look down here, this is the pump itself. And then as we come across here where all this debris is, you can't even see it, but there's a metal rod that's there, and underneath that is the float mechanism. So whatever plumber put this in, didn't position this in a really good setting. Right now it's functional, but it's going to need to be maintained. Even right now it needs to be cleaned up, because when all this heavy debris gets down and will stop that float from rising, then it won't pump, because it's triggered by the water level raising in there. But if debris is holding the float from rising, it can't actuate the pump. And it does not appear that I see another float mechanism on here for an alarm system. That's usually also recommended. But again, the positioning of this pump was not set in here well. They've got the flow emptying right onto the top of the float. And they have no vent, which should have been coming off of the lid of here. So we're now going to go ahead, and we've got a clean out lid right here, which is then this gravity line leading out to the city. So we're going to go ahead and put the lid back on, and then we'll go ahead and look through that lid. So we're going to pause the video for a moment here. Okay, we've just gone ahead and started to unscrew this clean out lid, and as soon as we did, we could hear some air pressure built up in there that was wanting to come out. Now you can see we've moved another half a thread out of the plug. We've got water shooting out of there. So either the line is completely backed up, or there's some very strange slope on this pipe. I don't know if the pump system, when the last time people appear to be living here, is used, but again, you can see I've got water trying to blow back out of this clean out. That only usually happens when you have a stoppage. Now the sump pump basin had water in it, but was not completely filled, and normally you would expect that to go ahead and be filled up. We're going to go ahead and pause the video for a second while we take the lid back off. Other thing we just realized, there may not be a check valve on that system, and we're going to go ahead and open that up and check the size of that pipe and for a check valve real quick. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and shine our flashlight down in here really fast and with the camera. So we do have a check valve down inside here at the pump. Now, it was put in actually a little bit too low. I'm going to try to maneuver the camera down on this side. So there is a square piece right there. You can see the flat side of the pipe there. That is the check valve, and if I go down a little bit more to the side, kind of hard to see, but there's a green pipe. That's the check valve. It's supposed to be placed higher. Now, the other thing we actually didn't notice as soon as we pulled the lid the first time was that this is a 3-inch pipe right here. Now, ejection pumps are only allowed to be in a 2-inch on their run. So the ejection pump is a 2-inch line. Now, somebody improperly installed this 3-inch pipe here, and they've got this 3- and 4-inch pipe connection here. So it should be 2-inch vertical all the way up until it gets to the standard gravity flow. And the vertical pipe above the pump, there's supposed to be a little 3/16" hole, which is called a vent hole, that's supposed to have stuff eject out of there when it shuts down. And then the check valve is supposed to be placed higher, more towards where we're at right here, right below this stainless steel hub band that we're looking at right there with that little piece of metal. So that also needs to be corrected. Now, again, we can see we still have water coming out of that pipe over there. Now, the check valve is what would stop it from filling back up into the basin, because it can't go back into there because of where they do have a check valve, just not placed in the proper position. So the line is possibly completely backed up. We're going to go ahead and pull that lid off all the way to see over here, but we still have water, as you can see, pouring out of the top of that. So there is a problem with the sewer system right here with a clog or a backup or improper slope. So we're going to go ahead and close this back up here. So we're going to pause the video once again.